Everything in your life changes when you decide what's non-negotiable. You're in P-Pal here. Welcome to another conversation from the track. All right, so today's segment I want to call the power of non-negotiables. All right, so this is basically about setting standards and personal boundaries, okay? So a younger version of myself was a people pleaser, and I was a yes man. Not even gonna lie. I cared about being liked and being this nice guy to try to be accepted and have people like me, basically. But in reality, what actually happens, people don't like you more. You become a resource for people, or just like someone that people just dump things on, or they know that they can just easily call you and get something from you. But that doesn't make you more of a likable person, okay? So when I started this shift, which was many years ago, I was actually in college taking my prereqs, and I was taking interpersonal communication. And I know a lot of people, that's just a quick little easy A, but that class changed my life because of what I learned there. But we had this little corny, cheesy assignment that basically it was like, write down 10 things that you like about yourself and then 10 things that you don't like. And then everything that was on the don't like list, start working on that. And basically that's what I did. It was like I was shy, I was timid. I know the same thing. Couldn't say no, and I was just tired of people basically running over me. So how you start with this is just start practicing saying no. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, when you have this personality, you're always available. Every call, every favor, you always just say yes to everything. You end up overcommitting, and a lot of times you are stressing yourself out. But it's not even about that. It's about protecting your inner peace, okay? Because I will tell you this. People don't respect your peace, your time, or your money, okay? Because when somebody calls and asks you for a favor, or they ask you for something, they're worried about their problem. Now, it'll usually start off, oh, I hate to bug you. Oh, I hate to ask you for this. So why do it, right? But yeah, they're worried about solving their problem. That's all they really care about. So it's not even about you. And there was a point in time when, yes, I would say yes to everything when I should not have. And I ended up paying the price for it. So first off, set what I call your non-negotiables. Some things that you just will not tolerate, okay? So like, for instance, for me, and these are not even just for work, they're just for my life period. So I shared this in another video kind of related to work, talking about the invisible hours where you do all this extra stuff outside of work. But like a few of mine is, I don't like being micromanaged, and I don't like people talking to me crazy. And then when it comes to work, I want to do my job and I want to go home. I want to do the shift, do my stuff, and go home, okay? And the fact that I'm not in a managerial or a leadership position, I don't have to do that. I'm an employee, right? So that's one of the benefits of not being in those situations. So, for instance, there was a time when I was having a monthly review with my supervisor position, and this is at a PRN job for one. So she was talking about something, and then she was like, about my response time to emails and things like that. And she was like, yeah, it takes you a while to respond, and blah, blah, blah. You need to get more engaging and all this stuff. I was like, okay, well, first off, I don't check work emails when I'm not at work. 2, this job is PRN. I'm only here maybe 4 shifts a month. So, and again, I don't check work emails, and I'm not about to. I don't have access for a reason. If there's something that you need from me that's pressing, either text me or send to my personal email. But I'm not about to start doing that. Of course, her face was like, okay, right? Like that. And I was angry when I said it, but I'm like, that's not something that I do. Like, I'm not about to start. No, because now I'm working. If I have to check an email when I'm not at work, that's work now. I have to flip into that work mode. So, no. And I told her right then and there, and she has not bugged me since. And if she needs something, she don't even bug me on my off day. She'll just text me like when I'm at work or something like that. So I set that standard, and that was it. Same thing with, like, doing favors and stuff like that, and picking up extra, or, like, there's always somebody that needs you to switch, and you say yes, but then when it's your turn, nobody's available. You know what I mean? And so I've even had one time, oh, if you offer some cash incentive, people are more willing. Oh, okay. So I don't even get mad. I don't argue. I don't do any of that. I just make a mental note. If it's a certain person, or just like I'm starting to notice this pattern, okay, I'm going to remember this, and I just won't do it again, okay? So that's more like on the kind of professional work side. Just set your boundaries. And so, because when you have boundaries, it actually makes decisions easier. Like, you have these non-negotiables. So even if you get into a job where everything is against your non-negotiables, that's not the place for you. It's not the place for you. So you may need to find employment elsewhere. I'm not telling you to just go in there and quit, but if they don't align with how you are, then it's not going to work. Just like if you're trying to pick a partner for a relationship, like you don't like somebody who smokes or something like that, and y'all go on the first date and I'm trying to quit. That should be a red flag. That's one of your non-negotiables. They're lying most often, okay? But if you just, but they said they're about to quit, that's you going against yourself, okay? But the problem is, a lot of people don't have any personal standards, right? And then they get mistreated, they get taken advantage of, and then they complain about, why are people so mean? It's not them. You haven't taught them how to treat you. You haven't set a standard because you don't have any. So how are people supposed to know what they can and can't take? So again, an earlier version of me, I used to put up with a lot of stuff. I don't anymore, okay? I set boundaries and things like that. And let me tell you, it is hard, especially when it's like friends and family, because they know everything about you and stuff like that. And it's harder because it's more personal, but you have to shut it down. And so, like, no, it's not you being mean or it's negative. It's protecting you, because nobody cares about your time and money more than you do. I've said that before. Like, no, because they think, you're this NP, you're like this doctor, you're getting all this money. Like, people don't even know. They just have these assumptions and these stories that they tell, and then they think that some of that is supposed to be for them. So, you know how they say, it takes 30 days to form a habit and things like that. When it comes to like favors, the second ask is when that routine starts. For example, okay, so I have this cousin that he had a rough life, okay, in and out of jail, stuff like that. But at one point, he got out, got him a job. He was doing great, saved up his money, got a car. So he called me. He was very excited. He's like, hey, man, spend all my money on my car, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, cool, I'm going to come meet you, right? I saw him. I gave him some money. Now, he bought a Honda Civic. Now, this was many, many years ago, okay, when about $25 could fill up a Honda Civic, okay? This was years ago. Right now, it's April 2026. There's too much going on. And we know that's nothing now, okay? But back then, that was a lot of money. And that was probably maybe 2.5, 3 fill-ups, okay? So I gave him $60. Bam, cool, man. I wanted him to have more than enough, right? Whatever he was going to do with that, that's fine. It had nothing to do with me, right? So anyway, so 5 days later, I get a call from the same cousin. And he's like, hey, my ex-girlfriend just got out of jail, right? Now, this girl, terrible person. I mean, ex-crackhead, like, stole out of the grandma purse, burned his son with a cigarette. Like, bad, just evil person that's burned every single bridge that with everybody she knows, lost their kids. Terrible person, okay? So here it is years later. And people wonder why people have no sympathy for her. You think we forget? It's not a grudge. I just didn't forget all that stuff you did, okay? So I have zero sympathy for this girl. She's just getting out. Anyway, so he calls me. At the time, he was staying with his father. So, and she had already burned bridge, so she was not welcome over there. So he called me. He's like, hey, I was trying to see if I can get, about $50, so we can get a hotel room for the night. Yeah, no, man, like, that's not, like, and I started telling him why. First off, I had 2 young children. I had a family to take care of and things like that. Not only that, I'm not about to start taking care of 2 grown folks. Like, it'd be different if they were like teenagers, like, my little cousin. We're like 2 years apart. So they were both in their 30s. Y'all are 2 grown adults. And so, yeah, he started like with the guilt trip. You're just going to leave us out here? We're going to have to sleep outside. And that is not my problem. Okay? Because if I would have said yes, I was thinking, okay, if I give you $50, that's for one night. Like, what are y'all gonna do tomorrow? Right? And then what? If I would have said yes, then he would have just called me right back. And it would have been the same thing. And now I have a whole nother bill that I'm taking care of 2 adults. No way. No way. Okay? So I shut it down. He was upset, of course. It is what it is at the point, okay? So, and here's another point. When somebody calls and asks you for something, they're already at no, right? They already don't have the thing. So you're not taking anything from them, because when you say no, then all the guilt, they'll try to make you feel bad and stuff like that. And, oh, you're just gonna leave me out. I didn't get you in that situation. Like, I'm sorry this happened, but I didn't get you in that situation. Like, it's not my fault that you're in that situation, right? So you're not taking anything from them. So they're gonna give you pushback and things like that, but so be it, okay? So now I will also say this. There are consequences to setting standards and boundaries. You are going to be looked at a certain way. The story that people are going to start saying about you is going to be different. Most often, the most common. Oh, you think you're better. If I had a penny for every time I heard that, or somebody told me that, just because I stopped tolerating certain things. And it wasn't even anything drastic, but you can't just come over here and do and say and act a certain way just in front of me, or my kids, or come over here with all this gossip and talk. I don't want to be around that anymore. Like, that stuff is toxic. So when you start to separate yourself from that, then you become a problem. So I will say this, you definitely have to be strong, but you are doing this for you. You are doing this for your own internal peace, okay? So yes, there will be resistance, okay? People are going to get upset, depending on what kind of family you have, right? If you cut off, let's say, a sibling, and they go and cry to mama, you may get a call from mama. Oh, how did you do this to such and such? Or you're just going to leave them out? Or you're going to... Once again, I didn't get them in that situation. Don't say it's me leaving them out just because I'm choosing not to help them. And so again, it was really rough early on, like, you know, when I first became a nurse and stuff like that, because like I went from like a PCA to RN. So my whole life changed. So people just saw the upgrades and just thought, oh, he's rich now. Oh yeah, let's call him. Oh yeah, let's. And so early on, it was kind of crazy, but yeah. So they may change each time like you elevate, because even from RN to MP, like, things still changed. I still upgraded my car and stuff like that. So again, they're gonna see whatever, and so it's like each stage you have to kind of either renegotiate or tell people, hey, whatever it is. Because another thing that happened with me was that my mom was like, she was telling everybody, oh yeah, you know, just call him. Yeah, you get sick, yeah, just call him and he'll take. And so I was getting like these random text messages and like people from church or whatever. Hey, you know, your mom told me to call you. You know, I've been having this cough, and after like the third one, I'm like, I had to call my mom. Mom, what are you doing? Like, stop telling people to call me. I'm not their doctor. Like, can you stop? Like, and it's like, it comes off like you're mean. Oh, well, I was just, no, stop. These people need to go to their doctor. Because the thing is, I actually helped a couple of them, right? All right, send a seat back. All right, cool. And then what's going to happen? Seat back is 5 days. They're not better. On day 6, they call you. Hey, you're going to wake up on your off day. Hey, I took the medicine, but, you know, I'm still having congestion. You know, my chest is still kind of, oh my gosh. Like, this is not my problem. Like, I'm not your, so, please, okay, please, set those standards, okay? It protects you. And let me tell you about somebody who has had this in place for years, all right? People know now. People know not to call me. They know I'm not the person. So the thing is, my phone rings a whole lot less. I get a whole lot less text messages. And honestly, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. All right? Because it's crazy how it may start off like a cool relationship, but then when they start asking you for stuff, it becomes transactional. right? Like they only call you when they need something. And as long as you are providing whatever it is, then y'all are cool. And you could have done 1,000 things and then you say no one time. Oh, you're just gonna. That's like you never said yes before at all. And so then that whole relationship is gone. But if they can easily walk away, y'all were never that tight anyway. Okay, so this is about protecting you, okay? Because every time you say no, you are protecting yourself. You're protecting your personal standards, okay? So the power of no is real, okay? It is not easy to, like when you first start implementing this, but it's like one thing is like just become less available, okay? You can just, it's a slow process, all right? Like you don't have to answer every single call. You don't have to respond to a text message right away. Like you can see it and just not respond to it and just wait. But that's the thing, that's the easiest way. Just get busy, just start doing something else. Oh, I was tied up. Oh yeah, I was working on such as, oh, I was, right? And then just slowly kind of create that distance. And then the more you say no, like don't commit to everything. So that was one thing that for my wife for this year, because she's such a kind, caring person, but she would take on too much. She would say yes to everything and then try to juggle all this stuff. So I told her for this year, like starting off for 2026, I'm like, say yes less, okay? Don't overcommit. Say no more, because all you do is add more stress to you. And honestly, it's been better. I mean, we're 4 months into the year and it's been better. She's getting better with stuff like that, but I'm like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. So protect your inner peace, set boundaries, and keep your personal standards, okay? And yes, people are gonna have a problem with that. They may label you a bad guy, a villain, you're a jerk, you're just not a nice person, you're mean, or whatever it is, but you have that peace, okay? All right, you're on PayPal here, another conversation from the track. As always, practice boldly, and I will see you on the next one.